Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Schiavone, personal trainer, online coach, helping guys and girls like you to lose weight and get rid of that stubborn body fat without having to sacrifice any of the fun things in life, like having a social life, going out drinking, going to your favorite festivals, and having a good thing like a pizza every now and then. Before we get started, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit the little notification bell. Don't forget, you can also go over and check out my Instagram at @SchiavonePT. The link is going to be in the description below for you guys. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the top 7 reasons. That is 7, right? 7 reasons why you're going to the gym, you're working hard, but you're not seeing any fat come off your body. Why aren't you losing weight? Truth is, eating well and exercising is a very general statement. It's not just as easy as eating well and going to the gym, but it's something that we could all be a little bit better at. Let's admit that. All of us could eat a little bit better, all of us could train a little bit harder and a little bit smarter. Total body wellness is what we should really be aiming for in life. And that comes when we find a style of training and fitness that we enjoy, we find a style of eating that we enjoy, and then it just becomes like this lifelong habit. That's what we should really all be striving for. And we need to start looking at food as a fuel rather than something that we do to suppress our emotions or just kill time with. So with that, we're going to dive into our first point today. So our first point is you're more than likely eating too many calories. It can often be just that simple. If you've seen any of my content before, you know I'm always stressing about how you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. But if you don't know what your calories need to be, it can be more difficult to eat in a calorie deficit. Therefore, you may overeat. That is why you are not losing any weight. But life is also about balance. So you shouldn't be depriving yourself either. A diet should be flexible. I like to use the 80-20 rule, 80% good, wholesome foods, 20% junk food and alcohol. So the minute you start to deprive yourself is the minute that you crave things, and then you're more likely to binge and then overeat on your calories. So you really need to be aware of your caloric intake and your macronutrient intake. That's your protein, your carbs, your fat. Getting the right balance of those for your body and your training style is really important. But a good piece of advice just to generally get you started is to just eat when you feel hungry and to have some healthy snacks on hand to have between meals. Having a healthy snack throughout the day will help to mitigate you overeating on your larger meals like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If this is a topic that interests you, I suggest you check out this video, which is all about starvation mode and why it's a myth and that you can't actually gain fat when you're in a calorie deficit like some people tell you you can, because you can't. The second point is that you're probably eating the wrong foods. A lot of people focus too much on just burning off calories and aren't really paying enough attention to the types of calories they're eating. So this is where we're talking about macros, your protein, your carbs, and your fat. Now, nutrition is like 80% of the entire weight loss and fat loss equation. So you need to be focusing on getting a better quality of food in your body. It's one thing to eat a couple of hundred calories of chocolate, but would a couple of hundred calories of fruit and vegetables not be a better choice? I think it would. Same calorie value, but very different micronutrient and macronutrient qualities. So try your best to avoid as much as possible really processed high sugar foods. So a really simple rule I like to live by is eat things that have a really small ingredient list. And if there's anything in there that you can't pronounce, should you really be putting it in your body? So point number 3 is you're probably doing too much cardio. Again, if you want a bit more detail on this, I recommend you go check out this video here. Yes, cardio is important. It's important for your cardiovascular fitness and your overall health. So you should always be doing some cardio, but it's not the be all end all of weight loss. You should really be focusing on other areas of your journey and not just cardio. The biggest issue we have with doing lots of cardio though is that excessive amounts of cardio is going to compromise your muscle mass, which we don't want. That's what I talked about in my last video that I just linked. What you want to be making sure you're doing is a moderate to minimal amount of cardio and focusing more on weights. If we do too much cardio, you're going to compromise your muscle mass, which is going to then slow down your metabolism because you're going to be less active, which then makes it harder to lose fat, and you're not going to have a really good looking body that you really want.
Fuck that.
Not to mention the fact that the highly increased calorie burn that you get from these excessive amounts of cardio is going to make you more hungry, which is then more likely to make you snack and overeat, which is then going to eat into your calorie deficit or possibly put you in a calorie surplus, so you're not going to be losing any fat. Point number 4, guys, is mainly the topic of my last video, and that is you're not lifting weights. You need to be lifting weights if you're wanting to preserve as much muscle mass as possible and help to get as much fat off as possible. I'm not saying you shouldn't avoid cardio altogether. By all means, do some depending on what your fitness goal is, but I would really focus more on your weight training rather than your cardio. So it's as simple as the more muscle mass your body has, the more fat you're going to be able to utilize and burn. The leaner you'll stay, the better you're gonna look, the better you're gonna feel. But if you're not ready to give up cardio yet, and you haven't got the confidence to hit the weights yet, even just starting with body weight exercises such as squats, press-ups, and lunges are a great way to start working your muscles. So we're gonna move on to point number 5, and that's that you're not training hard enough in the gym. Now, there's no exact equation for exercise and healthy eating. It's very much a trial and error dependent on the individual and what you need depending on how you train. But more time spent in the gym does not necessarily mean a healthier person at the end. Now, unless you've got a really specific goal, you're an athlete, a bodybuilder, a marathoner in training, the average person doesn't need to spend more than about an hour a day exercising. Your workout should very much be intensity dependent and not time dependent. So you can actually do a higher intensity workout and spend less time in the gym. And that can often be much more effective for most people to lose weight. And that's why it's really important to try and maximize the time you spend in the gym. Have a plan, have a schedule, know exactly what you're going in to do. And then that means that the next time you go in and do that workout, you can do better than you did the time before, because that's really important as well. You must continuously be improving on every single workout you do. Point 6 is that you're not taking enough time to recover. Recovery is so important, and it's so completely misunderstood and underappreciated by most people. Getting enough sleep, getting good enough quality of sleep, having rest days from the gym, having active recovery days where you just go for a walk or maybe do something more gentle like a Pilates class or yoga. Recovery is really, really important because for the most part, you don't burn fat and all the calories you do burn while you're in the gym exercising. The majority of that happens actually while you're resting and while you're asleep. What? So it's important that, just like the last point, you need to kind of scale things back a little bit and focus on recovery and decent quality of workouts, because less is often more. And point number 7 is that you're probably under too much stress. So like I just mentioned, recovery is super important. A body that is well recovered is going to be more able to lose fat and preserve muscle mass. A body that is not well recovered and is highly stressed is likely to do the opposite. It's likely to store fat and it's likely to get rid of muscle. And a lot of this comes down to your hormone levels, specifically cortisol, which I also mentioned in my last video. If you're stressed, you're going to produce an excess of cortisol in the body, which we don't want. Now, cortisol is entirely natural and normal and in fact necessary. You need cortisol to actually get the muscles moving and firing properly during exercise. But what we don't want is an excess post-exercise. Long-term exposure to high levels of cortisol essentially triggers an increase in fat storage and a degradation or loss of muscle mass over time. And a lot of this can happen not just because you're training too hard, but also if you have a stressful personal and professional life, which is keeping your stress levels super up here, then your cortisol levels are going to be further elevated. So there's a lot to be said about not only trying to exercise properly at the right kind of intensities, but also trying to do as much as you can in your personal and professional life to mitigate any stressful situations. Because nothing is really more important than your mental health and your physical health. So this is always about total body wellness. That's what we're aiming for. So guys, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon so you can get notified of whenever I release my next videos. Speaking of which, my next video is going to be kind of the flip side of this. It's going to be why you're going to the gym, you're working out hard, but you're not managing to build any muscle? What are you doing wrong that's not giving you those gains that you're looking for? Make sure you go follow my Instagram over at Aaron Schiavone PT. The link is in the description below. I post much more regular content on there, all about fitness, fat loss, life in general, weightlifting, whatever I'm doing at the time. Make sure you check out these other videos on fat loss and fitness as well. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.